Let's talk about a huge, invisible problem that's likely happening in your business right now. It's a hidden crisis, one that's draining productivity and talent, and most leaders don't even see it coming.
I mean, just picture it for a second. What if you walked in on a Monday and almost half of your people were just gone? The chaos, right? It would be catastrophic. Well, the wild part is, data shows that's pretty much exactly what's happening.
That's the number. A full 42% of workers are losing the equivalent of one entire workday every single week. Now, they're physically there, sure, but they're running on fumes, all because of this thing called misfit work. And let's be super clear here. Misfit work have nothing to do with someone's skills or how motivated they are. It's about asking really talented people to do their jobs in a way that completely goes against their natural, hardwired instincts. It's like asking them to write with their wrong hand all day, every day. It's just exhausting. So, to really get this, we have to understand a concept called connotation. Now, this is in your personality, and it's not the skills you've learned. Think of it like your brain's factory settings. It's your instinctive go-to method for solving a problem or taking action.
And these instincts kind of fall into four buckets. You've got your fact finders. They need to get all the details. Then you have follow-throughs, who are masters of building perfect systems. Quick starts are the ones who just jump in and figure it out as they go. And implementers, they need to work with tangible, hands-on things. Now, no style is better or worse, but when your job demands one thing and your natural instinct is the total opposite, that's when you start paying that heavy, invisible tax.
And, this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. For the actual people living this day in and day out, the cost is absolutely huge. It goes way beyond just feeling tired. It's a real human crisis. Get this, a staggering 60% of workers feel like they have nothing left in the tank after work for their actual lives. Nothing for their family, for their hobbies, for their own well-being. This energy drain doesn't just stay at the office. It bleeds into every single part of their life. And look at the fallout. We're talking about real, serious stuff. Lost sleep, constant irritability, not even enjoying things you used to love. People are getting actual physical symptoms like headaches. This isn't just having a tough week. It's a chronic condition, and it's fueled by that basic mismatch between the person and the job. And here's where the connection becomes crystal clear. If you spend just a little bit of your week working against your grain, only about 14% of people report that their stress is unsustainable. But look what happens when you spend more than half your week in misfit work. That number just skyrockets to 70%. The link is undeniable. And when stress gets that bad, people start looking for the exit. So that very real human cost, it translates directly into a massive business risk. Your best people are heading for the door. And there's a really powerful signal that can predict this, a signal that honestly most leaders are completely missing. Right now, nearly 38% of all workers are ready to quit. Let that sink in. It's not always about the money or the manager. It's because the job itself is fundamentally draining the life out of them. And the more misfit work you do, the higher that flight risk becomes. The second you cross that line, spending more than a quarter of your week misaligned, your odds of looking for a new job jump by 1.5 times. It's a very clear tipping point. So, what's that early warning sign I was talking about? It all comes down to the flow state. You know that feeling, right? When you're so into what you're doing that time just flies by? Well, that's not just a nice little perk of the job. It's actually a crucial diagnostic tool for job fit. And just look at this. Workers who rarely, if ever, get into that state of flow are 4 times more likely to be actively job hunting than people who experience it often. 4 times. That is a massive flashing red light that predicts who's about to quit. The message here is so clear. Flow isn't a luxury, it's a signal. It really is the canary in the coal mine. If your team isn't experiencing it, you've got a problem, and you need to act before it's too late. Now, usually when a company has a retention problem, the first thing they do is look at salaries. But the data here tells a really interesting story, one that completely challenges that old assumption. Check out how close these two bars are. When people were asked what drives their job satisfaction, having tasks that fit me best was basically in a dead heat with compensation and benefits. People absolutely want to be paid fairly, but they just as desperately want to do work that feels natural and gives them energy. And that leads to a pretty blunt conclusion, doesn't it? You can't just buy your way out of this problem. Throwing more money at a role that's a fundamental misfit doesn't actually fix the root cause.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we've seen the human cost, and we know the business risk. So what's the fix? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward, and the results, they are dramatic.
I mean, the difference here is just night and day. When companies actually start assigning work based on people's natural strengths, every single important metric gets better. Job hunting drops like a rock, and the chance of experiencing flow or having energy after work literally doubles. Let's just pull out that one number on retention because it's so powerful. When you shift how you assign work, moving from just job titles to people's actual strengths, you can cut the number of people looking for a new job by a whopping 70%. For any company, that is a total game changer. And when you ask employees what they need to fix this, they're not asking for ping pong tables. They're asking for real structural change. They want teams built around complementary strengths. They want flexibility to lean into what they do best. They want managers who actually get that people work differently. And they want to be judged on their results, not on how they got there. So to wrap it all up, this hidden crisis of misfit work is costing us about a day a week in productivity. It's a direct line to burnout and turnover. We know now that task fit is just as important as pay. And the solution isn't some new program. It's about fundamentally changing how we design work itself. So this is the big question for every leader, every manager, and really every one of us. Have you really aligned the work to be done with how people are naturally wired to do it? The data couldn't be clearer. The organizations that figure this out are the ones that are going to win. The only question left is, will yours be one of them?